What's up, everybody? Welcome into episode 5 of the podcast with Upside. I'm your host, Jay Felicia. You can find me on Twitter at GMenJ. With me, as always, is my right-hand man, the Rick to my Morty, Mr. Dan Turner. You can find him on Twitter at EagleDanFF. What's up, Dan?
How you doing, bud? It's been a long time. I feel like it's been years.
I know. It feels like it has been a while. You know, we're used to doing it once a week and then jumping once every other week. It's just, I miss you, Dan. I really do.
I miss you too, bud.
Well, before we get too emotional in here, we've got a guest that, Dan, somebody who you and I have gotten close to over the past few months. Somebody who's a good friend, Mr. John Luke Garofalo from Front Yard Fantasy. JL, how are you doing tonight?
Good, my friends. How are you doing?
Doing good, and we just had to make it known that you are a known hater of The Office and Rick and Morty.
2 of those things are not true, and 0 of them are true. I'm almost done with Rick and Morty. Did I tell you that?
And have you liked it better this time?
That
you gave it a chance?
I didn't really watch it the first time, so
okay. Well, there you go.
I don't even know if you can call it a first time. I just watched 15, maybe I don't know, 10 minutes.
You browsed the show.
Yeah, I turned it on, heard some old guy burping, and was like, nope, not for me.
Yep. Well, why don't you tell everybody, those that are watching that don't know anything about you, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm the co-founder of Front Yard Fantasy. If you don't know us already, we play a fantasy football game show that we live stream every single day at 3 p.m. Eastern, where we take popular game shows or Jackbox games and we adapt them for fantasy. And so we end up just, yelling at each other, making fun of each other, laughing, just in the middle of the day and talking fantasy. So it's a lot of fun. So you can find that at Front Yard Fantasy on YouTube or Twitch.
Yeah. Dan and I both have been guests on that show. And for those of you who did not see today, I had a little bit of an announcement. I am also joining the Front Yard Fantasy team to help grow that brand.
Hostile takeover. This is now Front Yard Fantasy Podcast with Upside.
Still going to be going for 2. Still going to be at all the places that I'm at. This podcast is not going anywhere, but I'm also going to hop on with the Front Yard Fantasy guys. So there he is. The Visca fan club's in the house, baby. AFC South, I had to rock the little Visca Chenault. And Justin said that he was going to watch the show, but he saw that JL's on. And
peace. Have a good night. Good to see you. Not.
Jeff agrees. Who hurt you that you hate The Office and Rick and Morty?
Where do I start, Jeff? Where do I start?
Well, I told you right before we came on air, we're going to have a curveball for you, JL. And this is something that we are going to maybe start doing with every guest, but I thought you were a good one to try this with. So we are going to give you 5 random questions that you have no idea what they are. Just completely random, not fantasy football, just a little bit of fun.
Okay.
So first up, who's your favorite Clemson quarterback of all time?
Deshaun Watson.
Any particular reason?
He's the best. He was QB during my time. He's the best QB that ever lived.
All right. Fair enough.
Handsome.
He is a handsome guy. I'll give you that. All right. Question number 2, Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
All right. You're allowed to stay. If you would have said DC, the show would have been over. So,
weird.
Who do you like? Who do you like better, Simon or Josh?
I don't know a Josh. I know a Jeff.
Josh /
Simon
Jeff.
by default here.
Okay. All right. We'll go Simon.
You know what? I want to go back. I'm going to go Josh / Jeff.
That's the correct answer. So I'm glad you fixed that. So good job.
Simon's just so mean to me on the stream.
He is. He isn't in real life too.
Yeah. Josh is never that mean to me.
If you could get rid of one fantasy football take, what would it be?
Anybody's take?
Anybody's. Anything. You say whatever.
Lawrence.
There we go. We're going to get into that. So I love it.
You knew the answer to that before you.
And here's a tough one specifically for you. New Girl and Adventure Time. One of them has to go.
Oh my God, I hate you.
Which would you choose?
Do I have to answer?
Yes, you do.
I can't. I cannot choose between those 2 things. Don't make me.
New Girl, Adventure Time, or jump off a cliff?
Jump off cliff.
All right. That's what I figured the answer would be. Jeff's throwing out some names out of here. Charlie Whitehurst, Taj Boyd, Woodrow Dantzler.
Definitely not better than Deshaun Watson.
Well,
Taj was the QB when I was a freshman. I think he left after my freshman year because then Deshaun came in.
I don't blame him too.
I mean, if you
Justin agrees with you, he said that's the right answer.
Which one?
I know about jumping off a cliff instead of choosing
yes.
between Newgrange and Adventure
That's a
Time.
lot of talking for someone that's supposed to have left.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were out of here.
Uh-huh. And agreeing with you on the top of that. But
Yeah, you
Right?
liar.
well, what we've been doing this offseason for our shows is going through each division and touching on fantasy storylines. The reason we have JL on is because he is a Clemson alum, a huge Clemson fan, and kind of was a Texans fan. Now, probably not, as soon as they wise up and get rid of Deshaun Watson. If Watson's gone, you're no longer a Texans fan, right? Or is that already got there?
That is fact. I still like DJ Reader, who I believe is still there, but no, not enough to keep me.
Well, we at least, we've got some Clemson quarterbacks to talk about. And our guy Jeff in the chat, I just want to say to you, the number one quarterback in this class, Trevor Lawrence. So just want to throw that because I love you, Jeff. We are going to start.
Do you see what you did?
We are going to start with the Titans, though. And first things first, if Corey Davis leaves, which he probably is going to, who do you think steps up and becomes the number 2 receiving option in this offense? And JL, we'll start with you on this.
I think they'll probably sign someone in free agency or draft them. Who's behind Corey Davis?
I looked at the names
Westbrook.
earlier, and it's ugly.
Yeah, Westbrook, Akini, Cameron Batson, Khalif Raymond. It would be the next one up. Yeah, I think they'll probably draft somebody or pick someone up for free agency.
Dan?
Yeah, I think they're going to go the free agent route. I was looking, they're not such a huge passing team to begin with. And they obviously have A.J. Brown there. So, it's not really critical to get a receiver too, but I'd say that they definitely sign someone in free agency, maybe like a Tyrell Williams or someone like that.
Sammy Watkins?
Yeah, Sammy Watkins too. That'd be a good one.
Our guy, Mike Hitz, says Humphreys is being cut too. So there's one more guy. Jeff's saying Firsker, Firsker had his 2 good games when Corey Davis was out. He had 15 points per game the 2 games he was out. So if they wind up drafting somebody versus signing a vet, I could see Firsker being a pretty decent option in this offense. A late tight end dart throw that you're not somebody that you want to depend on, but somebody that might step up. AJ Brown's obviously the alpha when it comes to wide receivers in this league, in this team, but.
Yeah, John New's a free agent too, so
yeah, and they said that he's most likely not coming back. So
yeah, I'm excited for him.
Jeff is coming at you hard with the Clemson hate. Said another Clemson guy cut JL. They're dropping like flies.
The fact that Adam Humphries made it in the NFL is more than
Mike Williams after he gets cut. That'd be interesting. Mike Williams to the Titans. What do you guys think about that?
That'd be great for the Titans and terrible for Mike Williams' fantasy value.
Is he different enough from AJ Brown though? I
don't think so. I think he's definitely more of a red zone threat, whereas AJ Brown's going to be that that yak guy that just can break. He's a monster. I absolutely love AJ Brown. And speaking of which, we'll roll into him. Dan, we'll start with you on this. Can AJ Brown be the wide receiver 1 overall? Last year, in points per game, he finishes wide receiver 7. In total points, he finishes wide receiver 10. So he was already a wide receiver 1. Can he finish as the wide receiver 1?
Yes, he absolutely can. I think that if Davis doesn't end up leaving, they're going to get someone to fill that wide receiver 2 role. But I think that a bunch of his snaps and targets are going to go over to A.J. Brown, like you said, who's already a top 10 guy this year, almost a top 5 guy. So I can definitely see him being the overall wide receiver 1 next year in fantasy.
JL, thoughts?
I don't know if I'm as confident. He was 29th in targets, 27th in receptions, 14th in receiving yards, and 5th in touchdowns, which tells me that he's fairly touchdown dependent. I could see that. With Corey Davis leaving, that might increase his opportunities to get touchdowns, like Dan's saying. But I just don't know if I'm super confident in it. So is there a chance? Yes. Is it likely? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do, like you said, if they go out and sign a veteran number 2, who's somebody that can be a threat for targets, it's going to be a lot harder to do. He played 2 games this year without Corey Davis, and he averaged 5 more points, 22 points versus 17 points in games that he played with Corey Davis. So it's almost a touchdown a game points-wise that when Davis was out. Also, this is obviously a run-first team, but Derrick Henry's getting up there. He's getting a lot of miles on those tires. It's going to be hard for him to keep getting all these touches. So maybe they, start to pass a little more than they have. What's his name? Tannehill has just been killing it. Since 2019, he's got the second best QB rating, the 10th most fantasy points for quarterbacks, 25th in attempts. They're more of a passing team than you would realize. It's definitely a run-first team, but Tannehill has been killing it since he's took over for Marcus Mariota last year.
Yeah, he really has. People left him for dead.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about old King Henry, Mr. 2000, is he a buy, sell, or hold in dynasty leagues? And JL, we'll start with you on this one.
If you're asking me what I would do, is I would probably
yes, that's what we were doing. We were asking you what you would do.
I would probably trade him. If you're asking me for advice on what you should do, it's probably hold him for another year and trade him. But that is my personal opinion. I just think that he's going to go down. He's going to start. His value is going to start diminishing. It's just a matter of when. And I have never been crazy bullish on Derrick Henry. Now I did eat crow on that take a lot, but I still just don't think that at what he's been doing, you can sustain that for very long.
Yeah, Jeff gets it. When I ask you a question, I am asking you what you would do. So
thank you.
Just to clarify.
Cool.
Yeah. Dan, what would you do?
Be nice to the guests, man.
I know, right?
JL's not a guest.
Jesus Christ.
First time, last time.
Right? Come on, man. I would trade him 100%. I think that especially with running back, this is as high as his value is going to be. Like he might get another 2,000-yard season, but I'd rather the haul that you can get for him. I'd rather have that than one or two more good years of production.
Yep,
Jeff is just coming at you with the Clemson. He said that's your Clemson
right?
education coming through. Man, Jeff, who hurt you is the question.
I know, that's the thing.
That's
Somebody
tough.
did.
Why isn't Jeff should go watch some Justin Fields film?
This is like this perfectly describes Ohio State fans and Clemson fans, where like all year they were just so mad at Clemson, and Clemson fans didn't even know. We weren't even paying attention to them. We were like, oh, what? You're mad at us for losing?
That's how it is in North Carolina with the whole UNC and Duke and NC State thing. Like Duke hates UNC hates Duke, NC State hates them both, and they're like, who cares? Like it doesn't matter. Like they're little brother.
Like we hate Alabama. Like Ohio State's not even on our radar. Y'all beat us once. That's fine. That's cool.
Jeff said he already did, and that Fields is QB1. We'll get there. Trust me. We cannot talk about the Jaguars without the Lawrence versus Fields discussion. When it comes to Derrick Henry, I will say it depends on what type of team you have. I would not be looking to buy, but if you have him and you're a win-now team, I would hold him. I definitely think he could have another productive year. However, I will say, and I've said it on the show many times, I'm the type of fantasy owner that I would rather get out a year too early versus a year too late. Like Dan said, his value is never going to get higher. He's not likely to.
So between those two options, you'd rather get out early than late? Those are the two options you're going with?
Yes.
Okay.
Always get out early before getting out too late.
Okay.
Words to live by. In many situations. So yes, always get out early. With that being said, let's go on to Trevor Lawrence versus Justin Fields, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this has been a discussion that has obviously blown up all over fantasy football Twitter. I cannot talk on this simply because, and I've told you guys this, I say this all the time, I'm not a college football fan, so I am just now getting into watching some film. I watch the big games, but I don't watch enough to have a valid opinion. If I had an opinion, I would be lying. I just started diving into some tape, so I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to try to watch it this year. But in my humble opinion, this is very basic, but you don't see anybody saying that there's any chance that the Jaguars are going to take anybody but Trevor Lawrence. Not a chance. Now, they're saying Fields could go 2, Fields could go 7, Fields could go 11. There's no question when it comes to NFL mock drafts that Lawrence is going number 1 overall. So, JL, I will go to you as the Clemson fan.
Which one am I picking?
We know who you're picking, but is there a valid argument when it comes to Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields?
I don't think so. I think you're comparing apples to oranges here. Daniel Jones, nice hot takes. Yeah, no, I don't think it's a valid comparison. I think anyone sort of saying that is probably watching, this past season, taking this past season and extrapolating from there. And so, if you look at both their careers, and the sampling size there, Trevor has proven there's a reason why they consider him an elite talent. He's incredibly accurate, incredibly accurate in deep passes, despite what many people think. Just this past year, he's got great game time mentality. He's been in situations where he's going to face that pressure that I just don't think Justin Fields has enough experience to back that up in the NFL. Only time will tell, but I think it's a silly argument to make based off of the recent events in the college playoffs.
Dan? I could see you turning red as you were sitting and stewing and waiting for this moment to come for you to be able to have this discussion. Jeff says that we got some comments. I'm going to make you wait a little longer. Jeff said that Fields was number 1 on ESPN's recruiting rankings. Well, ESPN is obviously never wrong. So
yeah, ESPN has never been wrong.
Yep. Jeff said you are silly. Simon is making fun of your grammar. Said more worse.
No, he's making fun of his own grammar from his last comment.
Where was that?
It says this past season, Fields had more worse games than Lawrence.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's the one.
Simon.
But it is safe to assume that he is probably making fun of me most of the time.
Yes. Speaking of which, talking about your smirk, and Simon does agree with me. Our guy, Marty, is in the chat, and he did have a question. So, Dan, I'm going to make you wait a little longer.
That's fine.
He said he has Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, and Mint Chu with pick 5 in an upcoming rookie draft. Should he grab a quarterback right away or a running back? I have Cook, Swift, and Mostert. Marty, if you're still in here, give us a little more information. Is it Superflex? He didn't say, right?
No, I didn't say. I was looking.
Yeah, so we'll hold off on that and see if you're still in the chat and tell us if it's Superflex. So, Dan, have at her. Lawrence or Fields? Let's hear it.
You sure?
Yes.
You sure?
It's safe to go now?
Yes.
Is this a safe place?
So, there's been a lot of talk on this topic, but I honestly think that there's no realistic chance that you can take Fields over Lawrence's situation. And this is not to say that Fields doesn't have a lot of great attributes. It's just that Lawrence just does things better. He has better attributes than Fields does. I actually wrote an article about Trevor Lawrence. You can go check that out. You're going for 2. But realistically, like JL said it perfectly. He's been in really high pressure situations. He's a leader on the field.
He's got a luscious head of hair too, so that has to count for something.
That's the best hair. But and also like Simon said, that Justin Fields has had games.
Simon said, "Touch your nose."
Says, "Boop."
Sorry. Oh, JL, you lost.
Classic.
But
used to it.
But Fields there are some games where just Fields has some really big technical problems, and I get that people are fans of his and stuff. But in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, obviously, I think that there's no chance that Lawrence should fall beyond Fields.
Well, you heard it here. Trevor Lawrence, 101, no question. Sorry, Jeff. And apparently Simon wants to spell it Jeph.
Yeah, let's get that going, Jeff.
There we go. I like that.
Simon and Jeff.
Jeff said it feels like you just don't respect my opinion at all.
Weird. I feel that same way.
Is wrong.
Well, I mean, then he'd be correct, but
that is accurate.
That is a fact.
It's
just
hard for
kidding, Jeff. You know we love you.
No, we love
you. Know we love you. All right, so Marty, we'll get back to the question real quick. Marty did say it's super flex, so he's got Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, and Minshew with pick 5. So if it's super flex, Trevor Lawrence is going 101 because just like in the NFL, he's the best player available.
Obviously.
So
no question.
Harris, Etienne, probably 2-3. It really just depends on where these guys land. If both Fields and who is it? What's the other? Zach Wilson. If both Fields and Wilson wind up in positions where they're going to be starting from the get-go year one, I think you kind of have to, because you don't have a quarterback 3 in Superflex. Bye weeks or injuries, you're going to be screwed. Matt Ryan's on his way out. Russell Wilson's fine. You got yourself a quarterback 1. I think if you're able to get one of these guys that's going to be a starter for this year, you set yourself up nice that Matt Ryan is going to be able to be that bridge for your second starter. And, if it turns into a Herbert, you got yourself lightning in a bottle. JL, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you should. If Minshew's your third quarterback, I would probably be targeting a QB. I don't know if Zach Wilson's going to make there, but I think you can get one of those secondary guys there at pick 5, who's going to at least be a nice QB3 for you. They might not play right away, and so you might want to think about trading, try and get a third QB there. But I don't know. I like going into Superflex season with at least 3.
Yeah, 100%. Dan?
I'm going to go the other way. I think you should take whoever's left from Harris, Etienne, and Chase. I think that from a lot of the mocks that I've been doing, the top 3 quarterbacks all go within the top 4 picks. So if that's the case in Marty's draft, then I would take Etienne. And if he's gone, then Chase.
I would look into, depending on, it's going to take a haul, but maybe from 5 to 1 isn't that big of a jump. So maybe explore seeing if you can get that 101 and take Lawrence. It's going to cost you, but. And our guy Sean in the chat said he agrees with you. So
thanks, Sean.
Sean has lost my respect. Just kidding.
Oh, speaking of Sean, he actually also had a great Lawrence article.
You know what? And I was going to say, Sean, I give you a lot of credit. There's been some people around the fantasy football community that when they have a Fields take over Lawrence, it gets ugly and they just start throwing around opinions. Sean has a really good argument for Fields over Lawrence. And it's done in a really, really well thought out way. It's on goingfor2.com. Check it out. It's a great article, Sean. I really liked it a lot. Even though it's wrong, I do really, no, I'm just playing with you, but it's really, really well put together. And Simon said, could Fields be great? Absolutely. I'm no Fields hater, but I just think the probability of Lawrence being successful in the NFL is significantly higher.
I love when he starts sentences like that, asking himself questions. I know it's going to be a good Simon sentence when he starts a sentence asking himself a question.
Jeff said, so do I, but you guys don't listen. No, Jeff, you're, for the most part, pretty good. You've got a little homerism in you, but for the most part, when you make an argument, you make some good points as well. So when you're not coming at JL for being a Clemson fan.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks
all
for
right.
standing up for me.
I got you. Sean said, Lawrence is Jamarcus Russell.
Well, I take back everything I just said.
Yep, I take back everything good I said about your article, Sean. You were really, I thought we were close, but apparently not. Simon said, do I love that? For sure, but it's always to emphasize the point. Fantastic.
I feel like Simon Says is going to become a segment on the show soon.
I think
Simon Says.
And Jeff said, JL, he loves you, but you started it. Actually, Jeff, you came in here throwing the Clemson hate. When you did your thread for the HBO shows, you went hard after Clemson. So
I have receipts from the DMs where I'm pretty sure you were the aggressor, Jeff.
Well, let's throw it out there. Take some screenshots, post it on Twitter, and there's always some sort of drama going on Twitter. It's been a little quiet. Maybe we need to
imagine Twitter drama between Jeff and I.
Yeah, it would be like the nicest thing. It would be like, you mildly aggravate me, and I am mildly mad at you.
You're very nice, but sometimes you make points I very much dislike.
Your thoughts are inconvenient at times.
At times.
Simon said that he would fight us if it became a segment. So
we're definitely
starting next week, we are going to have a Simon Says segment.
Good luck finding
Simon, them. In honor of you, let's dive back into this and dive
right in.
That's for you, Simon. We are going to jump into the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who I have a severe man crush on, Mr. Laviska Shenault Jr. We got our guy Danny Ocean on here as well. What's up, Danny? He's got an awesome show.
Speak on it. He does. A little bit last night.
Yep, good stuff. Check it out on Going for Two Live. It's a lot of fun. It's the biggest sports stories of the week. They really dive deep into 3 or 4 stories. It's really good stuff. Definitely check it out. Back to my guy Visca.
Oh, here we go.
I will wait because it's well documented.
No,
you go first.
You go first. You go first.
All right.
Get over.
We'll go first.
Take a nap.
I love Laviska Shenault so much. I just love him. I really do. He's got amazing hair. He's talented. A couple things. He was really starting to turn it on when they were using him. They were lining him up all over the field. He can play out of the backfield. He's explosive. And there goes Dan. We'll see you later, Dan. I don't know what happened there.
It is, Dan.
Oh, there he is. Oh,
didn't want to listen to your Visca.
You wanted? Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. If you don't want to listen to Visca, I will just mute you. So back to the Laviska's talk. Obviously, he's getting a major upgrade. The quarterback position in Trevor Lawrence, who, by the way, is the best quarterback prospect to come out since Andrew Luck. So I just wanted to make sure I brought that back.
Objectively,
Dan,
Jeff.
Yes, objectively. And we're getting some eye rolls in Sean. And then Jeff said pretty much JL's Southern charm and his Midwestern kindness are a volatile cocktail.
I'm from the DMV, bro.
I was about to say,
no
Southern charm. Like, if there's Southern charm, it's from this guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I went down there. I didn't get an accent, though.
Nah, that's the thing.
No
I was born in New York, but I grew up in North Carolina, so I feel like I've got a neutral because my parents still have that thick New York accent, and then I grew up here, so I get made fun of down here for sounding like I sound like I'm from up north, and then when I go back to visit family, they're always say dog, say car, say
dog.
Dog? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, well, up there they say dog and coffee. That's how I can say it because
my dad's Brooklyn Italian immigrants.
Yeah, my whole family. So same thing. You know how it is.
Yep.
I still have a ton
every
of
Christmas.
family.
Hey, Gary.
Let me ask you this: is your family where literally it doesn't matter if there's 2 people, if there's 5 people, if there's 50 people, you are not allowed to leave until you hug and kiss every single person that is in that room?
What do you think?
That's
I come from a family of serial killers, of course.
Okay, well, that's just the Italian thing. The first time my wife, when we were dating, came over and my whole family gave her hugs. She's like, "What is this?" But it's just a New York thing. It's an Italian thing. So.
And you got to leave with a care package. If you don't have pasta on every single holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, you leave with your care package of pasta and sauce.
A little gabagool.
I am a Southern Belle.
He's a Southern Belle with tongue, is what he said. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but
with tongue.
I don't know.
Here comes that rating.
Yep, and all the viewers just went away, but we'll get back to it. Jeff said you still got a little bit of charm, JL. Don't sell yourself short.
Thanks, Jeff. I feel like it's backhanded somehow, but thanks.
Now, back to the most important man of this entire show, Mr. Laviska Shenault. One thing I will say is, as much as I love him, I want to marry him, but I'm already married. But other than that, I worry he's going to be the guy that the hype drives up his ADP, and I'm not going to have anywhere. I love his potential, especially with Trevor Lawrence, but he does have DJ Chark. And as much as I like Lawrence, he still is a rookie. I don't expect this to be a high-flying offense right off the jump. So I love Laviska Shenault. I think he's got a ton of upside, which I don't have my little buzzer. I got to get that back next week. But I will say that I'm not going to overpay for him. I'm not going to reach for him. Dan has him in a dynasty league, and he keeps trying to take advantage of me because he knows that I love Laviska Shenault, and he's trying to get me to break the bank, and I'm not going to do it.
Are you going to do it?
Now, JL, as a unbiased, you're not a member of the there he is. Kyle, sorry, I just saw that. I saw how much upside does he have? Laviska Shenault has upside to the moon. He has more upside than GameStop, Blockbuster, all these old stocks that are just blowing up all over the place. Stonks, that's how you know it's a good show when we're talking about stonks. DJ Chark, Simon, you bring a good point. I think it's going to be a 1A and 1B situation. I don't see either one of them becoming the alpha dog in this offense. And the reason I like Chenault is he's able to line up in the backfield as well. Yeah, Chenault. Maybe Chenault's Dogecoin. I like that. Maybe
What
I
did you
need
just say?
a Dogecoin. How
Come on,
how you say
Jay.
it?
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin, potato,
Dogecoin.
potato.
The Dodgers.
Dogecoin. And no speaker. All right, JL, we'll move on to you for Mr. Laviska Chenault. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I think Shark will definitely be the guy with Trevor there. But I think, I'm really hyped on Chenault. I think that he's incredibly talented. If you look at his usage, his receiving usage across the team, wasn't fantastic, but he's pretty consistently getting 20 to 30%. And so I hope with Trevor, when they get to, they're passing more, it's going to be, that's going to go up. And if that offense takes the jump, I think it's going to with Trevor there, then I'm very hyped on Chenault. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be a great talent in the league and a great value in dynasty.
No, that's like he could do it all over the field, out of the backfield. He led the all rookie wide receivers in missed tackles, so he's great after the catch as well. Now, Dan, let's hear what you have to say about Viska. And what's up, Cooter? We got three of our favorite people together. Appreciate you hopping on, watching the show.
Best.
And my guy Marty said that we will enjoy Laviska. Me and him co-own a team together. We traded Kenyon Drake for Laviska here recently, so we were pretty happy about that.
Sounds weird. You'll enjoy Laviska.
So you and Simon or something else, I tell you. You take it a little.
Why do you think we're friends? Why do you think we're friends?
Exactly.
Why do you think we have a show that is not serious at all?
Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, so I was going to say a lot of people bring up Trevor Lawrence, but it would just point out not a lot of people talking about Urban Meyer and what kind of offense he's going to bring and how Levis is going to fit into there. I honestly think that he's actually going to fit in pretty well. I think the fact that he showed he has a little versatility running the ball and catching, that he can be a pretty good weapon.
Yeah, and if he turns Laviska into the Percy Harvin in this offense, that just gets me. I can't even say. This is a family-friendly show. I can't talk about it. But Scott said, my nickname is Andre 3000, so that must mean that I have passed over the 3,000 follower threshold. Some of our
it was going to be a surprise at the end of the show. I was going to surprise you. You just hit it.
Well, I appreciate all the love, everybody.
Congratulations,
thank you guys. I appreciate that. It's
You're very
had some help from some friends.
It was all me all along.
It was all JL, even though we just met a few months ago.
You're very welcome.
Cooter, you're one of my favorite people, but I don't agree with this statement. Although I will say, Dan, you want to explain what happened there?
No, you can tell it.
So Cooter was a guest when we did the War Room Live show, and she made a bet with Dan. What was that bet, Dan? I don't remember. It was something with Taysom Hill.
It was that Taysom Hill was going to outscore Alex Smith that week.
Yes, and you had Taysom Hill, and she had Alex Smith.
That's right. And
so she had to have she absolutely hates Tom Brady. She had to have a Tom Brady avatar for a week and make an apology video for apologizing for not believing in the Saints as a Saints fan. So, Scott, no worries, brother.
It's all right.
You're good people, no worries. And Marty said, congrats
you,
to these stacks. Nah, Scott's one of the nicest people out there, so
I know.
Can't get mad at him. So, JL, watch yourself.
Tell me what to do.
I will, because if I'll just mute you, and then you just won't be able to talk anymore. So, it's like that's right. Now that I learned that I can just mute everybody, that works. All right, moving on. Let's do a name game with James Robinson. I'm still one, and thanks everybody for tuning in. That's the show. JL, tell everybody where they can find you. So for those who don't want to be a sarcastic person, I was going to say something else, but JL, you are my friend, so I will just call you a sarcastic person instead of a word after that. Name game, we're going to run through some guys, and it's basically either or. Would you rather have James Robinson or this guy? So First one, we'll start off with James Robinson or Aaron Jones. And we will say from a dynasty perspective, James Robinson or Aaron Jones.
For me, it's Aaron Jones. Easy.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones for me as well. Austin Eckler.
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 Eckler for me as well. David Montgomery.
Robinson.
I'm going Robinson. Yep, Robinson across the board. Sean said Aaron Jones. Simon said Aaron Jones and Eckler. Cooter said Robinson.
Which one?
I don't know, but we're just saying whatever.
No, you're not.
We'll say this one. So Antonio Gibson.
Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson for me as well. Cooter said Robinson as well. Sean said Montgomery. She said she got one right. Jeff wants to know what players I have on my shelf. So I got a couple of Derek Jeters. That's 2-time Super Bowl MVP Eli Manning. One of the best, if not the best, defensive players of all time, Mr. Lawrence Taylor, and the best closer of all time, Mariano Rivera. So
you say 2-time Super Bowl MVP like I can refute that or something. Like I don't know that that's a fact.
No, all I did was state a fact.
Like Eli Manning, 2-time. Like I know, I get it. He's a 2-time.
I didn't say it like that. I simply stated a fact.
And then I'm asking
like
you.
You're salsa dancing.
All right, let's move on. Simon said Gibson. Sean said Gibson as well. Yeah, here we go. My guy Sean. All right, you're back. You're back on my good side, Sean. And Dan is left because I muted him. Dan, you're back on, so watch what you say. Sean said Eli's the GOAT. So if it wasn't for Eli Manning and Nick Foles, Tom Brady would have 10 Super Bowl wins. So just remember that when you want to hate on Eli. Jeff said that he thinks that it's him that sent 100 messages because we just got a message some.
Everyone.
Yeah, probably.
Every
Kyle
single one
said
was
that.
attacking me.
Funny, I didn't say that Eli is a Hall of Famer. I do
Ooh,
think
that's
he's
true.
a Hall of Famer. He is a Hall of Famer.
Well, that'd be lying.
He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he will be in the Hall of Fame.
That's not a fact.
That's another discussion for another day. See, Jeff, I love you, Jeff, but you start stuff. You're that nice guy that's like, oh, hey, here, let's throw this little bit that's going to start an argument. So he said he does wish that the Bills won a Super Bowl. So, yeah. Nick Foles has won more Super Bowls than the Buffalo Bills. So I know that's got to hurt. Yeah. Wow, Simon. He just said Eli's a Hall of Lamer.
I agree.
I thought he said Hall of Lamar.
Yeah. Well, what he does have to poop during the middle of a game? Sean thinks that he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. We'll see.
There's literally
everybody always says that Eli gets all this, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame because of his last name. I think he gets more hate because of his last name. He's never going to be Peyton Manning. He's not the same type of quarterback, but that's another discussion for another day. Kyle said that isn't arguing the whole point of the show. That's why it carries all the upside. You're right, Kyle. And the one thing I will say is Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Don't forget it. Kyle, I know you're in there.
People just want to hear us talk about Eli because it's just arguing between you and me.
Right, exactly. So
because you're wrong.
You know why people watch my show?
Yeah.
You just like to watch people argue on YouTube.
Yeah, because you guys make terrible picks all the time.
That's accurate.
Especially the TV shows. But that's all right. We still love you anyways. Moving on. Ronald Jones or James Robinson?
Robinson.
I think I'm going to go Rojo here. I don't.
Wow.
Don't buy James.
Comeback.
I don't buy James Robinson. I still think that I would try to sell him if I've got him. I was able to trade him middle of the season for a pick that turned into 105, and I'm ecstatic with that. I just think that they're going to wind up bringing in somebody. That's my concern with him. I know he produced, but he got something like the mid-90s% of touches. That's not going to happen again. His offense is going to be able to pass the ball a lot more. Jeff said does not compute. It should be Robinson. This one's pretty easy, but Todd Gurley.
Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson as well. He said he thought I said Allen Robinson.
Actually has functional legs. It's Robinson.
Not meatball knees.
Jeff said his choice is neither. Well, that's not an option, Jeff. That's not the name of the game.
You're just going to drop both players?
All right.
I'll pick them up.
Thanks, Jeff.
Appreciate it.
We're going to go back-to-back with name games with this one other guy named Trevor Lawrence.
Oh,
But this is going to be in a redraft point of view. So, JL, we'll start with you. Trevor Lawrence or Russell Wilson?
Trevor.
I knew he was going to say that.
In a startup, you're not taking Trevor over Russell Wilson?
No. I said in a redraft.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was not listening.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm used to it with you. That's
Trevor.
why Jeff started. Trevor over in redraft. You're going Trevor.
Yeah, he is. Look at him. Look at he knows what he's doing. Look at his smile.
Jeff said Fields.
Trevor.
Sean
Not
said
an option.
Wilson.
Fields isn't
Jeff
going to be
said
playing
Wilson.
week 1.
Listen, Jeff, we're not asking for undrafted free agents, okay?
Can you imagine?
We're not asking for the fourth quarterback off the board.
Do all the Fields truthers go deactivate their accounts if that happens?
They have to at that point.
Dan, I assume you're going Wilson over Lawrence.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going Wilson too. It's not close in redraft. Not that I don't think he can do it, but there's a lot more risk. Ryan Tannehill or Trevor Lawrence.
I have to stick with this now. So Lawrence. It's not like I'm going to not pick. I'm going to do Tannehill over Lawrence, but not do Russ over Lawrence.
We're talking just straight up, Simon. Simon asked in the chat, are we talking at their ADP or just straight up? Just straight up, who would you rather have in redraft this year? Jeff is just coming out with the hot fire. He said, not everyone can have a running back at quarterback like the Eagles, Dan.
Well,
Sean says Ryan Tannehill.
I'll go Tannehill. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Tannehill too. He's been a lot better than people give him credit for. He's got one of the best wide receivers in the league in A.J. Brown. We don't know what's going to, as much as we like Lawrence, we simply don't know.
We like him a lot.
Tom Brady or Trevor Lawrence? And let's assume that Godwin goes back.
Brady.
While you're thinking JL, we all know you're going to say Lawrence.
I have to now. I'm committed to
Kyle.
Please don't
Kyle
take any of
said
this
Tannehill
as
over
advice. I would probably not take Lawrence over all these guys.
You don't have to stick with it. Say your honest opinion.
Started as a bit, but I probably wouldn't. When it comes down to it, if I'm giving advice, it's definitely all three of those guys over Lawrence. But I'm just excited for Lawrence.
Okay, so in real life, money's on the line. You're going Wilson, Tannehill, and Brady over Lawrence.
Yeah.
I honestly think I would go Lawrence over Brady. He's
not enough Super Bowls.
Yeah, if he would have had the double digits, I would probably go with Tom Brady. But I would like the upside of of Lawrence over Brady. I know he did it again this year. He was I think he was right on 12 because Jeff and Ryan had a bet this year, and I think the last game he finished in the top 12. But it was ugly for Tom Brady a few games. Mm-hmm. I don't trust him to. I would much rather take the gamble with Lawrence. Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence?
Herbert.
Yeah, I'm going Herbert too. Jeff wants to know, JL, what are you listening to? We know you like to jam out while you're on podcasts, so give everybody.
Lupe Fiasco.
Look at you.
Nice.
Simon said that you're listening to the Backyardigans soundtrack. That's probably what it is.
Have it on loop.
Jeff said that you inspired him. He started listening to music in his headphones like JL. You're a smart guy.
Nice, right? Keeps your energy up.
Herbs.
I think this was the last one. Our guy Nick is in the chat, said he would go with Trevor over Brady.
Man, I don't even get a sup JL from Nick. Thought we were friends.
It's over yet. Jeff says Herbert as well. I think everybody said Herbert over.
Surprising, Jeff.
And our guy Sean says Minshew will start over Lawrence week 1. I don't think Minshew's going to be on the team, honestly. I don't think they want him having his, Lawrence having to look over his shoulder and the fan base, the next Tua and Fitzpatrick issue going on. I think they're going to get rid of them. Maybe Chicago, somewhere that needs
Minshew? I forget who it was.
I think Minshew. Go ahead.
I was going to say, someone on our show was talking about it and really convinced me that, I don't think that it makes sense for them to get rid of Minshew. I think he's a really cheap backup. Like, why wouldn't you keep him there on that undrafted rookie contract just back up in case something happens to Trevor? I don't think that they're going to start. Like, there's even a question which one's going to start.
And Nick did actually drop a "What's up, JL?" We just missed it in the chat. So
internet went out.
Yeah. So yeah, I lost power. So
yeah.
Kyle agrees with you. He said that Minshew doesn't think Minshew's going to make Lawrence look over his shoulder.
I don't think so either. If they take him one at the
so apparently everybody else is wrong and doesn't agree with me. So we'll see what happens. Dan.
Yeah, I agree with everyone else as well. I don't. Minshew should be the backup there, and Lawrence is going to start. Should start week 1. I mean, if you're taking him at the 101 in real life, then yeah, you got to start him there. There's no reason not to.
Why is Jeff's asking? Why is Nick's name weird? Am I missing something?
Foreigner, maybe. Is it Italian?
Seems Sanelli.
Sanelli.
If it ends in a vowel, it's generally either Spanish or Italian. So that's why I got the fleece together. Garofalo, Sarnelli. Yeah, Minshew's just not that good. That is true. He's got the best stash, and now he's rocking a mullet though. So, have you seen that? The videos that he's posted on TikTok? Oh yeah, he's going old school. Like, he's still got the Minshew Fu Manchu, but he's got a sweet mullet. It's fantastic. You need to look it up. We'll go with a couple more of these. Lamar Jackson or Trevor Lawrence?
Lamar. Why is he so buried in this list?
Lamar.
I was looking at current ADPs from what was it? Fantasy Football Calculator.
That's crazy.
Yep. And Kirk Cousins and I would also still go Lamar. Kirk Cousins or Trevor Lawrence?
Lawrence.
I'm going Cousins with Thielen, with Justin Jefferson. Cousins put together a good year. It's just he for fantasy purposes. Now, if this was real football, it's a different story.
Counterpoint. Lawrence has Laviska Shenault, so I thought he was the best thing since sliced bread, right?
No, I'm realistic about it. I love him just as much as I love my children. That being said, I'm realistic about it. That I'm not going to overpay for him. He's got, in order to live up to my love, he's got to do some amazing things, which I think he is capable of. But it's not a perfect situation. I would still go Kirk Cousins. I think he's got better weapons. He's going to have to chuck the ball because their defense is terrible. Granted, Jackson Mills as well, but I think Cousins gets too much hate from a fantasy perspective. And the last one we're going to do is Matthew Stafford.
Stafford.
I'm going Stafford too. I'm really excited about him in LA. I think that this is my bold prediction so far for the offseason. I think Matthew Stafford's going to be a top 5 fantasy quarterback in that offense. So that's my bold call so far. We'll see. Yeah, I'd say right now, Visca, and Jeff asked in the chat, what is Visca, a wide receiver 2? As much as I want him to be, if I'm being honest, he is more of a wide receiver 3 with high-end wide receiver 2 upside. I don't think, at least for this year, that he's got the capability of being a wide receiver 1. I think best case scenario, high upside wide receiver 2. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think wide receiver 3 is generally where I'd put him. I don't think we've seen enough to know that will happen this year. I mean, I'm optimistic with Trevor being there, but realistic that it's probably gonna be wide receiver 3.
Yeah, wide receiver 3 is a good place to have him.
What do you think? Do you think he's got the high end wide receiver 2 upside? Like
high end? No.
Yeah, I wouldn't say high end. I'd say low end wide receiver 2.
High end. Okay.
Best case scenario, I think, is we get a a wide receiver to outcome.
Okay, I'll give you that. And our guy Sean, who is a big Rams fan, likes that call, and so does Nick Sarnelli, our Italian brother. We will roll on to JL's team, the Texans, at least until Deshaun Watson gets traded. Speaking of which, where does Deshaun Watson get traded?
Like realistically?
Yeah, your legit not dream scenario. Where do you realistically think that Deshaun Watson winds up next year?
I think realistically, he plays in Houston. He doesn't get traded. That's the most probable outcome here. I think.
Yeah, I think if they don't trade him, I think he's going to sit out. I think he's dug in his heels.
It's possible. Yeah, I don't know. Like he doesn't have that. He doesn't have like the typical personality that would make me think like, oh, he's definitely going to sit out. But he hasn't really ever been in this situation.
He's such a good
before.
guy. Like he's done so much when the whole pandemic started. I believe that he was paying for salaries for the Coliseum employees. Like I've never heard anybody say anything negative about his personality.
He's very humble guy. He's been that way since Clemson. Grew up not having much. He's just not. You could just tell it goes into every play that he plays. Every time he interacts with people, like you could just see it comes through in his personality. And he's been doubted most of his career. Right, he didn't get the Heisman. People consistently said that he wasn't going to be good enough in college, and that's what led to him having such calm nerves in these game time decisions. He's, compare him to Kirk Cousins, it's night and day. You could throw Deshaun Watson in any game situation, and he's just got nerves of steel. And so the thing that we haven't really seen is his pride tested like this. And you're right, he put himself out there, and so like how he reacts to the situation will be interesting. I can't say whether he'll sit out or not, but it'll be interesting to see. I think otherwise, like I would love to see him go to the Panthers. That would be dope. Miami, I think, would be a really, really good destination for him as well.
I think he winds up in Carolina. I do. I know there was some craziness with some fake rumors flying around and stuff like that here recently, but I honestly do. I think David Tepper, the new owner, wants a franchise quarterback. I mean, look at the money that they gave Teddy Bridgewater last year. He's not afraid to get a little crazy, to overpay for what he feels that this team is going to need. To have a guy like Watson in Charlotte, a stone's throw to Clemson. I mean, it would just invigorate this franchise, this fan base. Could you imagine DJ Moore with Deshaun Watson? Like that would be unbelievable.
Moon.
Yeah, to the moon with Dogecoin, right?
Dogecoin.
Yeah, I honestly do. I think he winds up in Carolina. I think that they're going to do whatever it takes. They were willing to give up the 8th overall pick for Matthew Stafford. What does that say that they're going to be willing to give up for a guy as good and as young as Deshaun Watson, who could be a franchise cornerstone for years to come? Dan, what are your thoughts?
As far as where I'd like him to go, I'd like him to go to Carolina. I think that would do well for all the weapons he has there. But realistically, I'm thinking that he's going to be traded to Miami. I think that he's going to be part of a deal. Tua is going to be part of it. I think Tua goes back to Houston, along with some other picks and pieces. But with him in Miami, Devontae Parker will be great, and Preston Williams might actually do something.
There he is, the other guy that I love, Mr. Preston Williams. I know our guy Nick that's in the chat is also a Preston Williams truther. So,
but I think that Miami would be a decent place for him to go.
Yeah, I can see that. There's talk of the Bears, there's talk of the Jets. I just think that one of two things. I think it's either going to be Carolina, or I think that he does wind up staying in Houston, like JL said.
I just can't get the Bears. Like, why would you want to go to Chicago if you had a choice?
You wouldn't? And
okay.
even Bears fans agree. Like, you ask Justin and Marco, they would completely agree. Our guys are friends from 14 Personnel. They would, of course, they'd love to have Watson, but nobody wants to go there. But we will run through these. We're creeping up on some time already. We're already 55 minutes into it. It's I knew the Trevor Lawrence discussion would take a while. If the Texans do trade Watson, Who do you guys think is going to wind up under center for Houston? And JL, we'll start with you.
I have no idea. Who is even behind him right now?
Let me see. I don't know. I can't find it. Let's see.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I think they could maybe
Depth
try and get
chart.
someone in the draft, or they don't have enough cap. I don't think to. I mean, I guess if they get rid of Deshaun, they'll free up room, but maybe they'll get someone free.
Jeff, AJ McCarron is.
Maybe they just roll with AJ McCarron. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see them doing
Jeff,
that. Just like
Jeff makes a good point. Whoever, they'll probably wind up making a deal. Tua, Darnold, Bridgewater, Fields, Wilson. Yeah.
Or get one of those like back end QBs. Second round QBs or something.
Yeah, I think if they do get rid of them, they're definitely going to admitting that they're in full blown rebuild. They're not going to. I don't think they bother with the guy. Like even if they trade Bridgewater, I don't see them. He's got a pretty crappy contract. They're going to have to give up some pick compensation like the Eagles did to get rid of him. Old Scott says Gardner Minshew. Simon, I like Simon's train of thought.
Tim Tebow. There you go.
He did just retire from baseball, so you never know. Kyle Trask. Yeah, I think I think they'll wind up drafting somebody. If it's not Miami for Tua or something like that.
I didn't know this. Josh McCown is the third string there, so maybe they roll with him.
I thought he was. Isn't he a coach? I thought they were.
Sleeper has him as third in the depth chart.
He was in consideration to be the head coach, so now he's the third string quarterback.
Hey, try something new.
Yeah, Sean said the dead money's the problem. Absolutely.
There's always Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah,
he could wind up back there.
That would be awesome.
Hard to rebuild with no pick. Jeff said, what's Charlie Whitehurst up to? I could see that. I could see a move like that. Who was the guy that you guys are talking about in your show that's always the answer to back up? Was it Blaine Gabbert?
Blaine Gabbert.
I think you look up on every team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see a Fitzpatrick with a second or third round rookie quarterback. Try to get lightning in a bottle. We'll go ahead and move on to the Colts. Dan, you've got a little bit of a connection to the Colts now.
The coach, right? Frank Reich. He's the coach for the Eagles.
Yeah. This guy named Carson Wentz was recently traded to Indianapolis. Oh, you guys hear anything about that?
John Hurts backup quarterback? Yeah. I think I heard something.
So, Dan, as an Eagles fan, what do you think Carson Wentz can do in Indy?
Destroy Michael Pittman's value.
So optimistic, Dan.
So you are not on the Carson Wentz bounce back bandwagon.
Nope.
Simon, that was a little alliteration for you. I know how much you love alliteration.
People think that because he's going to be with Frank Reich, that he's suddenly just going to become 2017 Carson Wentz again, and just not. He's taken a bunch of injuries since then. Even playing with Philly, you could see that his mechanics are shot. He's always looking down at the rush. He hasn't been a good quarterback. I mean, the Eagles didn't start Jalen Hurts for no reason. It wasn't just like, oh, we're bored, let's just start Jalen Hurts. They started Jalen Hurts.
Well, I don't know. Doug Peterson.
But if Carson Wentz didn't suck, he wouldn't have been traded. He would have kept starting the entire year, and they would have kept him.
See, I know it's your team, but I disagree. I think that the offensive line was Swiss cheese because of injuries. He had no wide receivers. I mean, his best wide receiver this year was some guy named Travis Fulgham. I'm sorry, Dan. I know you like to call him Fogeltron. I do like Travis Fulgham, but he is not a number one wide receiver. I think him going to Indianapolis, and Doug Peterson obviously had issues with him. He did not want him to succeed. The play calling, you saw it. The play calling was completely different. Granted, Hurts has a completely different skill set, but he didn't, from a passing perspective, he didn't do that much better than Carson Wentz. He was just able to tuck and run. Carson Wentz got hit. He got into his own head because, his coach didn't want him. The locker room was split. Half the guys wanted to see Hurts. I think going back, I'm not saying that 2017 Carson Wentz is going to come back, but he's got, especially if Indianapolis goes hard after a wide receiver like the rumored to, maybe a Chris Godwin, with Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, great offensive line, weapons. You know, if the Eagles cut Ertz, bring on Ertz to the Colts, you get Carson Wentz's mind right, he's still got the physical tools to be a top-tier quarterback in this league. Now, I'm not saying I don't think 2017 Carson Wentz is ever going to come back, but I think he can be a low-end QB1, a perfect QB2 for Superflex leagues. JL, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think he'll be QB1. I think he'll probably be low-end QB2, maybe QB3. I think you'll be streaming him in redraft. But long-term dynasty, I'm perfectly fine picking him up, trading for him if you can for appropriate value. Now that he's traded, I don't know if you can. People might try and get more value, assuming that you're looking at the upside here. Hey,
ding.
Yeah, no, I think this, it's a great move for Wentz behind that offensive line. It's going to come down to his confidence, really.
And speaking of Jonathan Taylor, what do you guys think that this does for his value, having Carson Wentz versus old noodle arm Phillip Rivers? Dan, we'll start with you on this one.
I don't think it improves him. I think noodle arm Phillip Rivers was more than happy to dump it off to his running backs. And Carson has a slightly a stronger arm than Phillip Rivers does, so he's probably going to take some more downfield shots. I mean, it's in the offense where running backs are always going to be involved, so it's not going to take too much of a drop. I just don't think he's going to get the amount of targets that he had last year, or that people are going to be expecting him to get this year.
JL, as you take a swig, what do you think? You think it's stock up, stock down, or about the same?
I think it's about the same. I agree with Dan, though. I'm concerned. Like, his dump off pass didn't look that good. I mentioned this the other day on our stream, but when I went back and watched film I wanted to go see film on Rager to see how was his route running, what did he look like? Should I still be hyped on him going into this next season? In that, I just kept seeing Carson Wentz dump off pass accuracy was just not great, and so. I'm definitely worried about that, but I think that with the offensive line and hopefully with his confidence back, that it won't be as much of an issue.
I think Simon might have the ESPN because he said exactly what I was just about to say. I think it's going to be neutral. Yeah, ESPN, where you can read people's mind. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, about sports stuff specifically.
Right, right, exactly. Simon said that it's neutral for Taylor. Noodle arm provided more dump offs than Wentz, but I think the offense is going to improve, more scoring opportunities. That's basically
I think it's neutral for Taylor. Yes. Would I still draft Taylor? Yes.
When did Simon get on the show? I didn't realize that. That's what I think. I think the loss of dump off passes is going to be negated by this being a more productive offense. Kyle said he doesn't think JT's targets change much. There have been times when Wentz had a low ADOT, and yes, he's got a strong arm, but he doesn't always rely on it. So Sean said that Wentz is a turnover machine, and I am not reading what Simon just said in the chat. That being said,
thank you.
It's true.
Thank you for not having our show canceled by putting that
up. If YouTube canceled every show that had that in the chat, then there would be a whole lot of canceled channels out there.
What free agent wide receiver fits best in Indianapolis? They are rumored to be aggressive, looking for a complement to Michael Pittman. Daniels. Fair enough. He is free agent. They are in talks with him.
Well, I know you like.
Is that your answer and you're sticking to it?
It is. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in. But
no, it's okay.
I think it's the most.
Just never let it happen again.
All right, fair.
Dan?
I know you like Godwin, so I'm not going to take your answer. I'm going to go with Juju. I think Juju would work really well there, and he hasn't been talked about much by going there. So I think a little
He's
under.
Rumored to the Jets, to the Raiders. I haven't heard the Colts, but you know what?
That offense
like that.
Would be really well.
I do like that. I like that. I think he'd be a really good compliment to Pittman. For once.
Say Allen Robinson, Jay?
No, I'm going to say Chris Godwin. I think that they're rumored to really to want him. I was thinking for a while that he's going to wind up back in Tampa, but he made it a point to say that he is not taking a hometown discount, which I don't blame the guy. I never blame players who, if they want to make money, by all means,
Take that money.
the owners aren't doing them any favors. I am all on the player side.
Yep.
I think they have the most cap room out of any team. It's a phenomenal situation. You put Chris Godwin on that team, Michael Pittman on the other side. Doesn't matter who they have at tight end. JT in the backfield, that offensive line, they have a dominant defense. I think they definitely could challenge the Colts and the Bills for the AFC crown next year. Oh, and Sean has another good one too. Will Fuller. That would be a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, that would.
And our guy Scott said that JT's neutral, less catches but more carries. Great O-line, he'll get fed. Yeah, I think it's neutral as well. And yes, Simon, I know what you're talking about. It was a Mean Girls quote, but I'm not going to go there. With that being said, way too early favorite for the division next year. Granted, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to change by the time we get to the start of the next season, but that's the fun of this. It's way too early. And JL, if you had to pick an AFC South champion right now, who are you picking?
It would probably be the Colts. I don't think that with Corey Davis leaving, I'm just worried about the depth. If they sign another wide receiver too, I might go Titans.
Dan?
I will also go the Colts because I think that even though I don't think he'll do well there, he'll do well enough where they have enough pieces around him and then that they can win the division. But I will say that if Trevor has a Herbert type season, that Jags might be a dark horse.
That defense, man, I just don't know. I don't think they could do it.
Listen.
First off, Simon said JL's going to love this. Will Fuller, I barely knew her. So that is JL's favorite joke. If you ever want to make JL laugh, hit him with an I barely knew her joke.
Okay.
And there goes JL. Simon says the Titans. Sean says the Titans. As much as I hate to agree with you two, I think right now, the way things stand, I like the Colts, especially if they're able to add another wide receiver. Got a fantastic defense, one of the best offensive lines. They got a ton of money to spend. Stock up for the Colts. I think that they are really going to make some noise next year. It's obviously all on Carson Wentz. And if he can become not 2017 Carson Wentz, but not 2020 Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So we will roll on. Any players that you are targeting next year from a fantasy perspective from this division? Apparently, Jeff says that the Bills are going to win the AFC South. So we will see how that works.
That whatever school you went to, Jeff, education.
Sean's point against the Colts is Carson Wentz is there. So I still believe in Carson Wentz. I know I shouldn't because I'm a Giants fan, but I still believe in his talent. JL, who are some guys from this division other than Trevor Lawrence that you're going to be targeting for fantasy next year?
For me, it's DJ Shark. I think with Trevor Lawrence there.
DJ Shark. Sorry. I got kids. Just as soon as I hear
that's your excuse when you make
my son is obsessed.
I got kids.
Yes,
sorry.
Dad jokes. Simon and what is Simon's excuse? Because Simon has me and Simon have the same type of humor, but he doesn't have any kids.
Eat yourself.
He's
5
Dutch.
minutes.
Put yourself in timeout.
Okay.
Yeah, DJ Shark for me. I'm excited. We already touched on it. I'm excited. I'm excited for Trevor to be there, and he's very talented. So, I think that he'll have a good year next year.
Dan?
In honor, I'm going to say Trevor Lawrence. I think that he has the potential to be really good, and if he does have that good season, then he'll be great value at the end of any drafts.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. I'm definitely depending on his ADP. If it gets out of control, you got to take some chances, but you also don't want to buy all the risk. So it depends on his ADP. Obviously, the same thing with Laviska Shenault, but I'm going to get as much Michael Pittman as I can. I think that he's probably the best wide receiver that Carson Wentz has had in a long time since Alshon was actually healthy a few years ago. I'm really excited for what Michael Pittman can do if Carson Wentz is able to bounce back even just a little bit.
Are you going to take Pittman?
Jeff, yeah. What's that?
You're going to take Pittman at his ADP because ADP is shooting up like crazy right now.
What's it at right now? Let me pull up fantasy football calculator. So JL, while I'm looking up this ADP, why don't you tell a joke since you're Mr. Funny Man?
I never claimed to just have jokes on hand.
Well, you should.
Why should I?
Because you're always talking down on me and Simon about our jokes and how we're not funny.
Well, you're not funny, so he's
They're
right.
not funny.
Simon and I are hysterical.
Listen, if you two are the only ones laughing, you're not.
No, that's all that matters. No, Marco generally laughs at us as well.
Marco doesn't count for anything.
Marco laughs at everything.
Yeah.
That is true.
Marco laughs at Justin's jokes too. Justin's jokes are terrible.
Justin's the worst.
Michael Pittman is going as the 52nd wide receiver overall, behind Christian Kirk, Cole Beasley, Laviska Shenault, Corey Davis, Michael Gallup, Hollywood Brown, Antonio Brown. And this is according to Fantasy Football Calculator's ADP from from January 25th to February 25th, so the last month. I will take Pittman at that ADP all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
In Dynasty, I love it.
Yeah.
I would, Pittman, I think, is super talented. So regardless of situation, I'll be taking him.
In that league I got with Marty, we've got Pittman, we've got Shenault, and we've got Mims. We stacked up. We took over an orphan, stacked up on some rookie draft picks, and we killed it in the draft. So I feel like Simon says, "What are caterpillars afraid of?" Let's hear it, Simon. We're waiting on your joke. Jeff said, "Welcome to his show, JL. Now tell a joke."
Dance for me, puppet.
Dance for me, monkey, dance. And then, who are some guys that you are fading next year? And Dan, we'll start with you on this one.
I'm going to be fading Carson Wentz, actually. I just think that...
Is this like a lover scorned? Like, do you not believe in it?
No. I'm being 100% serious right now. I don't think that physically ability, he like you guys said, he's fine. I just don't think with how bad he looked mentally, I don't think he can come back from how he looked mentally last year. That's my opinion. That's all.
Well, you're wrong, but that's okay.
Well, you think
answer to Simon's joke? What are caterpillars afraid of?
Doggerpillars. No, that's pretty good.
I love it. I love it, Simon.
Just because of the earlier joke.
Yeah.
Dog coin.
JL. Who are you fading next year from this division?
Well, I know he might be a free agent, so he may not be in this division, but it's Will Fuller because he's in the division now. I'm not super hyped on him. I don't think that we've seen it consistently enough, and we haven't seen it away from Deshaun Watson. And you know how I feel about Deshaun Watson. You
feel like Deshaun Watson as I feel about Laviska Shenault, basically.
That's not true. He loves him much more than you love Laviska.
That's very true. Dan's completely right on that.
Don't even compare them.
Yeah.
You've been dating
for like a week. We've been dating for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I don't even enough to trade for him, so you can't even say anything.
No, I'm not going to overpay for him, Dan. Sorry.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not a homer like you.
But you say that. You are.
I probably will. Let's be honest. Jeff said that everyone is allowed their opinion. I should be nice to my friend. Well, I don't have any friends on this show right now, so I don't have to be nice to anybody.
It's true.
Just kidding.
I wouldn't let him be my friend.
No, we're basically family at this point.
I actually like you a lot more than you, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fine. Most people do. I mean, how could you not look at that smile? Sean says David Johnson. That's definitely, I was fading David Johnson this year. I want no part. Although he was decent. He actually put up better numbers than you would expect, but I no part of him. I'm going to fade James Robinson. I'm worried. I know he was a stud. Where you were able to get him off the waiver wire last year for free, yeah, I would take that all day, every day. But I'm not willing to draft him where he's got to be drafted with all the potential question marks. This is going to be a much better passing offense. He's not going to get touches in the 90th percentile again. The front office doesn't have any ties to him. There's zero draft capital into them. I would not be surprised if they spend a semi-high pick on a running back, and that's just going to tank his value. You know, I don't think he's going to be completely worthless, but I think there are a lot of question marks that could really take his value down from where you're going to have to take him ADP wise.
Unless the rookie running back's Kylan Hill, then you have nothing to worry about.
True.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Kylan Hill's a bum, but that's here nor there. Well, that's a wrap. JL, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We do also like to finish up each show when our guests come on. Give us something that the fantasy community does not know about you.
Interesting question. It's a lot of things. I'm a mysterious guy.
We got all night. Let's just hit them all.
Well, many people probably don't know that I've been working, I guess, full time in the industry for a year and a half, and not in content creation or analysis, but on the product side of things. Starting my own company with Simon, we started coming into the industry building products, and then started to slowly start to do content creation, analysis stuff, and while we also parallel build products. And I work for a company, also a DFS game in the industry called PrizePicks. So yeah, I mean, I think that side is not often talked about because most people in the industry are content creators. But I think there's a lot of opportunity to build some cool products in the space.
Absolutely, yeah. You said that earlier today, and I think you're right. I think a lot of people don't realize that side of the things for Front Yard Fantasy that you guys are doing. That there's a lot of exciting things going on. And before we go, Sean wants to know if we have any sleepers for this division. Anybody you can think of off the top of your head? At that ADP, I would think that Pittman qualifies as a sleeper, as a 50-something. I definitely think that's going to go up, but
yeah, I think
he's somebody. I think the term sleeper at this point, with all the information that's out there now, sleeper started when there was a outdated magazine that you had to buy from the grocery store that, was guys weren't even on teams at the point. There's so much information that goes around now. I think sleeper is more of somebody who's going to severely outperform their ADP. And even if Pittman jumps up to, the high 30s, low 40s, he's somebody I'm going to attack everywhere.
I will say, though, that just a deep sleeper kind of name to look for is Darrington Evans on Tennessee. Because if anything, if
that's
you don't know how much Henry has left. So if anything happens to Henry, and he looked like he was getting into some touches at the end of the year. So I would definitely take a look at him. Paris Campbell's a good one too.
Both Marty and Simon bring up a really good point. Paris Campbell, I was all over him. I spent all my fab on him in my home league that I lost a bunch of guys, and then he got hurt the next week. So that really hurt. Colin Johnson's another solid one as well. So there's definitely some guys out there. JL, do you have any sleepers?
Man, I don't know if DJ Shark actually counts there. He's already too far, but I agree with all the ones you guys said. Pittman, I love. I'm sorry, Paris Campbell, I love. I also love Pittman. But yeah, no one else other than that.
Okay. Yeah, I think Shark, it depends. If you think he's going to take that next step into, top 10, top 5 potential with Lawrence, then yeah. That's the way that I look at sleepers now, is more of just guys who are going to be able to severely outperform their ADP.
Yeah.
And Keelan Cole as well in Jacksonville too, Marty said, which is another good one. I think you could pretty much say anybody in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence coming to town outside of James Robinson. So
yeah.
We'll tell everybody where they can find you and where they can find your work, JL.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter if you're not already. I know most of you are in the chat here, but at FYF John Luke. Or come hang out with us on our game show. We stream every weekday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. We're there playing a bunch of different games and just having a good time. So come hang out with us.
It's a lot of fun. Dan and I have both guested on the show multiple times.
We'll continue to guest.
Yeah, it's a great time, guys. You should definitely check it out. The host there, phenomenal. JL does a great job. You really got to check that out.
Absolutely. It's a lot of fun.
Appreciate the kind words.
And Dan, where can we find you?
All right, you can find me. I'm the lead dynasty writer at Going for Two. We're pumping out some really awesome rookie profiles. So just check them all out. I'm also contributing at 14 Personnel, and just last week I started as a dynasty ranker at Fantasy Pros.
Nice.
And Simon said that JL, we can find you at the toilet store.
Oh man, that was college days. That was Simon's "I barely know her" joke.
That was me too.
Every
That's
single
what-
sentence.
Me and Simon,
That's what
I'm
it's
telling
for.
you. Yep, I swear, me and Simon, it's like we're the same person sometimes. I really
It's
think
like
so.
you hear other people make jokes and you're like, oh my God, that's funny. I'm going to do that too.
Yep. Hey, you know what? See, I think that's why you didn't like Rick and Morty at first, because it's one of those shows that, yeah, it's funny watching it, but it's more fun to reference with your friends in random situations. And you don't come off as that type of guy that enjoys referencing.
Completely incorrect. Completely incorrect, Jay. And
You don't know anything about it at all.
I'm
What are
just
you?
saying.
Are we complete strangers?
Who are you? What's your name?
Where are my testicles, Summer?
That's the line that sold me on the show. And it's
That's
only
the
in episode
only
2.
line that I can reference, though. I don't know any other lines.
That's the if you haven't watched Rick and Morty, go and watch it. And we had to convince JL because he picked Adventure Time over Rick and Morty.
I still stand by that. Adventure Time is better than Rick
I
and Morty.
haven't watched it yet, so I can't. To be fair, I can't say
Wow.
one is better than the
So
other.
one of us is a better friend than the other because one
Well,
of us
I don't
went
have
for the other.
Hulu, and that's what has it.
One of us went and
Ooh,
bought
you
Hulu
like-
for the other.
JL said that. Excuse me.
Not
Simon
true.
said that you only reference Friends, which
That is
I will
incorrect.
probably aggravate a lot of people because I think Friends is the most overrated show in the history of television. But
You and a bunch of other people with bad taste.
yeah,
Hey, look,
so
let's have our viewers. Thanks, Jay.
yeah, and there goes all the viewers. But with that being said, you can find me on Twitter at GMenJ. I am kind of all over the place these days. I am the lead.
Go ahead.
I am the lead redraft writer at Going for Two. I co-host this show with my friend Eagle Dan. I am a contributor at 14 Personnel. I'm the managing editor at Sleeper Wire, and I just recently, within the last 2 days, joined the team at Front Yard Fantasy. So we got
Very
a lot of.
short-lived career because you're getting fired after the show.
Nah, that's fine. I love you too. That's all right. But that being said, make sure you guys check out Front Yard Fantasy. It's a lot of fun. It's every day, 3 p.m. Eastern. And in honor of Josh/Jeff, trading makes fantasy fun. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It was a lot of fun. And we will talk to you guys next 2 weeks. We have Jake Seeley from The Athletic coming on. So poor Jake Seeley has to follow up JL.
Yeah.
I know that's really tough.
Warmed it up for him.
He is a protesting Giants fan. He's a Giants fan, but he hates Gettleman like I do, and he has decided that he will not cheer for the Giants until Gettleman is gone. So
I love
we'll be going over
It's great.
the NFC East when he is on with us in 2 weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we got Jake Seeley, and then after that we have Troy King, who for the AFC East, who is a Dolphins fan. So we got some pretty great guests coming up. Make sure you check out all the great shows on Going for Two Live. We have one every day. Follow us at going for _2 and Going for Two Live. And then our podcast page is Pod with Upside. We got a lot of great shows, so make sure you check them out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Dan, stop shaking your head at me before I reach through. And
I will not do any.
you will not say anything because I just muted you. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Dan, JL. Thank you, Dan, for being a good sport. Like to give you a lot of crap, but, I love you very dearly. And we will talk to you.